Well, the left's drive to let anybody into America under any circumstances, no matter what, has become so all-consuming that they found themselves, as of today, fighting to keep criminals in the United States, literally fighting to do it. Today, the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, pardoned 7 immigrants convicted of drug dealing, assault, larceny, and other crimes solely to protect them from being deported. Think Andrew Cuomo would pardon you for those crimes? Wouldn't even consider it, because you're here legally. Meanwhile, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand is laying out the stakes of the fall midterm, saying a triumphant Democratic Party ought to immediately move to abolish border enforcement. Watch this.
So when we flip the House and flip the Senate, I think the first thing we should do is deal with the children who are being separated from their families at the border. We should, I think we should get rid of ICE.
Jumaane Williams is a New York City councilman. He's a candidate for lieutenant governor of the state of New York, and he joins us tonight. Mr. Williams, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Last time I was here, I had a civil conversation with Tammy. I'm expecting the same now.
Yeah, well, you may or may not get it, depending. But I have a very simple question for you, which is, can you imagine a scenario where I get caught dealing cocaine or committing theft or committing assault, and the governor of New York wants me so much to stay in New York that he pardons me as a citizen?
Well, there are pardons given out all the time. I think the President of the United States has just handed out a few pardons as well. What I think is happening is, thankfully, the Democratic Party in New York State is finally showing some leadership on this issue, and my hope is that the Democratic Party across this country does the same.
And by leadership, you mean saying to illegal aliens, you can commit any crime and you can stay. Because we want people who commit crimes, larceny, drug dealing, assault, DUI. Those are our kind of people. Is that the message that you're sending?
No, by leadership, we mean protecting human beings who are being targeted for no other reason but normally what they look like. So we've chosen a group of people
what they look like. Okay, so Tamar Samuda from Jamaica was pardoned for larceny and assault. Who did Mr. Samuda commit assault against?
So normally speaking, we look at the crime someone has committed, and then we look at the entirety of their lives. What we have chosen.
Okay, but I'm looking at I get it. But Tamar Samuda from Jamaica, convicted of larceny now and assault. Who did he assault?
I'm not sure. Have you asked them if they mind the pardon? But have you asked them if they mind being the pardon?
Oh, but you don't care enough to find out, is what you're saying?
No, have you?
Because you're saying that this is about... No, I'm against all of this. I don't think that you should pardon people simply because they're illegal aliens. You do, because you're saying we care about people. And I'm asking, do you care about the person he assaulted enough to know his name?
Absolutely.
And the answer is no, you don't care. Oh, but you don't know. Why is that?
Absolutely. So, one, I do want to rehumanize them.
So what's his name?
I know you have a tendency to dehumanize, but these are undocumented
I'm trying to...
human beings.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to humanize the person. Tamar Samuda is the illegal who got pardoned. Who's the guy he assaulted? I want to humanize him, but you don't, because you don't even know his name because you don't care enough to find out.
Oh, I see.
Why is that?
That is because what we're trying to do, and thankfully we are doing, and I thank the governor. I'm not sure why he has a lieutenant governor who thinks the opposite and wants to turn people over. He should probably support me if this is what he wants to do outside of election time. But what we need to do...
Hold on, hold on, I'm sorry to interrupt. I want to humanize the victim of the assault. So will you at least acknowledge that that's a human being too, maybe an American citizen worth protecting?
100%.
Then why don't you know his name? Why don't you know anything about the assault? Why don't you care?
Well, the strange thing here is, before the pardon, you didn't know his name, and so if the person was
I didn't know Tamar Samuda. I didn't know he existed until today.
The person who's being deported is a part of a group of people whom you love to dehumanize, and as a whole,
I'm using his name. He's a human being I don't want living here. He's a human being, absolutely.
Sure. The reason I'm going to be on trial next week for civil disobedience, stopping an illegal deportation that occurred, is similar to the reason why I'm here, to stop the immoral deportations that are occurring because of ICE.
Okay.
And what we have done is decided that there are
okay, but hold on. Before you give me another moral lecture, you guys are all preachers now. It's so interesting. For people who don't believe in God, you're very religious.
Oh,
but let me ask
very
you
much
this.
believe in God. My faith is very important.
No, I mean, as a party that's as hostile to traditional Christianity as your party is, there's a lot of moralizing.
That's not true.
But let me ask, can you understand why certain New Yorkers, the top half of your state is dying, in case you haven't been there recently, it's dying, desiccated, hollowed out, no jobs, sadness. You can see why the American citizens living there would look down to New York City and say, why are they spending all this time pardoning illegal aliens? What about me? Why is no one worrying about the fact I haven't had a job?
Communities that have immigrants and undocumented immigrants, the crime rate is actually lower. And if we want to look at why people don't have jobs, it's not because of undocumented immigrants. It's because of policies that you generally tend to support on Fox News, which is why in New York State, 1% are making more than 45 times the amount of the bottom 99%. And so that's where we should focus our energy. Yeah, you should be.
Yeah, but instead we're pardoning people who committed assault because they're illegal aliens.
No,
you can see why people might worry about your priorities.
We're trying to protect a group of people who are having their babies ripped from them by
but what about your people? What about Americans? No one cares about them, I've noticed.
Of course we do. We care about
you.
Americans.
You don't even know their names, I notice.
You don't know any of their names, and you don't care. So you don't even care.
I know Tamar Samuda is getting pardoned for assault.
What are the names
you don't
of the
know who he
babies
assaulted. It's
that were
funny.
ripped from the border from their mother? Do you even care what their names were? Do you have any idea about the transgender woman who was allowed to die?
No, you got me. I don't know, but I appreciate your coming on.